world has come to a crossroads in modern history. If the world were to continue along the pathway currently chosen by my government and some others, civilization will be plunged for as long as a generation or more into a global dark age comparable to that which struck Europe 7.5 centuries ago. We must not pretend that that danger does not exist. We must commit ourselves to the hopeful alternative which wise governments would prefer. Therefore, I should speak frankly but optimistically of a second crossroad, the Middle East. For as far back in history as we know, as civilization reaches, long before the strategic crossroads of Eurasia, of Discovery War, the Middle East has been the crossroads of Eurasia and Africa combined, as it is today. With or without petroleum, the historic strategic significance of the Middle East to itself and to the world will continue. Zoom in as if from an orbiting space station upon the past and present ecology of this region of the world's biosphere. That the most critical of the strategic economic vectors inside the Middle East region as a whole is not petroleum, but fresh water.
Greetings to all of you from the many different countries, from wherever you may be listening now. We are organizing this Oasis conference to inject a perspective of hope and show a way out of an otherwise desperate, extremely dangerous, and indeed catastrophic situation in Southwest Asia. If we don't replace this present escalation, which could rapidly turn into a full-fledged regional war, turning into a global nuclear war, it could mean the end of the human species on this planet. In order to avoid that, the short-term danger, what is needed is a cognitive jump to conceptualize an entirely different approach, namely to define the economic and security self-interest of the Palestinians, the Arabs in general, as well as the Israelis, and then the neighboring countries in the larger region.
And this is where our discussions today on the Oasis Plan, which was a plan with a lot of foresight that came about at a time long before the Chinese Belt and Road Initiative, but which was very had great thinking behind it, and some of the elements in those plans are today in some of the plans that are being put forward as an alternative to the unipolar world.
Of course, the lack of water aquifers, the shortages of water in the West Bank, because the settlers use most of it, and their control of the water aquifers basically restricts the production of our agriculture products. And that in itself creates, a certain kind of an impediment towards progress and development as far as economy is concerned.
The theme of this conference, development as the necessary framework for peace, resonates deeply with the journey of South Africa. Our experience underscores the intrinsic link between development and peace, recognizing that sustainable peace can only flourish in societies where development is nurtured and inclusive growth is fostered. Moreover, as we reflect on the words of Nelson Mandela, we are reminded of the fundamental aspirations shared by all humanity, the desire for safety, livelihood, health, and education. It is incumbent upon us as the global citizens to work tirelessly towards realizing these aspirations for all. As we navigate the complexities of the contemporary world, marked by conflicts and crises, we are reminded of the imperative to unite in pursuit of peace. From Gaza to Ukraine and beyond, the quest for peace knows no borders and requires collective action rooted in dialogue, empathy, and understanding.
We support the main message, which involves the implementation of the large-scale Oasis Plan to supply the region with water, including for irrigation needs. It is precisely such a large international infrastructure project that could serve as an incentive for the economics of Palestine, Yemen, Syria, and other countries. Its launch would definitely have a positive impact on providing young people with jobs, including qualified ones, on creating conditions for the return of refugees, and on the economic stability of the entire region. This is certainly a very attractive idea.
The only human thing is to give the lives and suffering of the dead meaning, not merely by establishing peace in the Middle East, but by establishing the basis for peace, which gives fulfillment to the lives of the present and future generations of Palestinian and other Arabs, and thus purpose and fulfillment to the sacred lives of the dead.